Wait a minute. Hi and welcome to another episode of Wait a Meno Minute, and today I'm going to start to talk to you about symptoms, and I'm not going to try and address lots of symptoms. I'm just going to talk about one or two at a time. So the first symptom I am going to talk about is brain fog. This has got to be the worst symptom for me when it comes to being perimenopausal. Now, during the day I work as a teacher, and so one of the things you can probably guess I struggle with is retention, or when I'm telling students information and I'll get halfway through my sentence and I'll forget. Now, usually I can wing it, which isn't too bad, but it's terrible when you've got a whiteboard pen in your hands and you're standing in front of a whiteboard and you've got 30 children behind you and you can't remember what the next part of the sentence is. Now, I tend to just laugh it off and say to the kids, "Oh, Miss is old," and then that's usually thrown back at me like, "Oh, you're not that old, Miss." And then about 30 kids want to know how old I am, which I obviously don't tell them. But it's something that is getting on my nerves. It's really starting to disturb me because it's happening more and more. As a fitness instructor, it tends to be choreography that I will forget. Now, my front rowers know all of the choreography, and so it's not too bad because if I stop, they will keep going. But there's a running joke in one of my classes at the moment where there's a group of us that are definitely struggling with menopausal symptoms. So if one of us goes wrong, or a few of us go wrong, one of us starts screaming menopause corner really, really loud. And so it's just turned into a running joke, really. It's good to have other people in there that are struggling. So brain fog being a very, very large symptom that plagues me, friends and colleagues of mine, not only in my day job as a teacher, but within the fitness industry as well. And I just find that talking about it really, really helps. So one of the things that I use to combat said brain fog is to try and make to-do lists. I do love a good to-do list. Sometimes I spend more time writing the to-do list than I do actually doing things on the to-do list. Let me know if you are exactly the same, but it does help me to remember. I also use post-it notes because I'm quite visual, so I will have lots of different coloured post-it notes stuck up randomly around the house, and the kids find them and my husband finds them and they're like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I know what that means." I'll usually forget where I've put the post-it note that's got the thing on that I'm supposed to remember. So it's kind of an oxymoron, isn't it? It's not really doing the job that it's supposed to be doing. But that's one of the things that I do with brain fog. Also, I'll take a moment to just stop and breathe and try and collect my thoughts. That might sound a little bit cliched, but sometimes it does work as well if you can just have a moment and go, "Hold on a minute, what was I doing, or what am I trying to do here right now?" And if you have to take a moment, because the worst thing you can do is like rush round and try and remember what it is that you're supposed to be doing while you're rushing round, trying not to forget the thing that you're supposed to be doing. If you just stop and wait, then it does definitely help. With choreography, I've got set moves that I do if I forget my choreo partway through, and the fitness instructors out there will be able to tell me you'll all have a signature move of some sort. So mine is either step to the side, so step touch, or it might be a single, double step touch, or it might be a tap in front. It generally tends to be single, double. And that's how I combat it while I'm trying to remember what piece of choreography is coming next. And the worst thing about it is it's usually my own choreography that I forget, which my students find hilarious, absolutely hilarious. So yeah, I have signature moves that I go to. One thing that I haven't forgotten is my rhythm. I'm hoping that never leaves me. I'm hoping that's ingrained into every cell of my being, so I'll never forget my rhythm. So if in doubt, just step it out. You know, oh, that rhymes. I should write that. I should patent that, shouldn't I? I should trademark it. I should write it on a post-it note because I'll probably forget, in all fairness. So I wanted to draw your attention to a book that I have, and it's called Menopause Help by Claire Hattrick. Now, Claire was Clipboard Claire on Instagram, but she's now the executive menopause coach on Instagram, so you should definitely go and check her out. Now, this book is a menopause help before, during and after, and it's symptoms and remedies, and I have definitely checked this book on more than one occasion. So let's have a quick look. We've got hot flushes, night sweats, cold flushes rather. Okay, let's see what she says for brain fog. Brain fog. What do you say, Claire? What guidance can you give us for brain fog? Okay. For lots of women, this can be a very debilitating symptom of the menopause. It can affect many aspects of your life, but especially your work, and have a huge impact on your job. It has been reported that some 60% of women struggle to concentrate and remember things, and this can start as soon as you hit perimenopause. Oh, yes, it can. Oh, yes, it can. So she then goes on to talk about how diet can help with brain fog and having sleep issues as well. Now, I do struggle with my sleep, and I know that if I get enough sleep, I generally tend to have a better day in terms of functioning and remembering. So there may be a link with your sleep and how heavy or how hard brain fog impacts you during the day. So if you want to check Claire out, she's the executive menopause coach on Instagram, and the book again is Menopause Help. It's definitely worth checking out. So I would love to know what you think. As always, you can always send me a message, or you can comment wherever you see this video or wherever you listen to this podcast. So I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you for another Wait a Meno Minute.